I'm Conalisa Mahu with Lighthouse News and Notes. I'm here today with Donna D'Angelo of the Institute of Christ Consciousness. Our topic today is our relationship to the living gospel of Jesus. I cannot wait for her to share this with you. And this is a time for an interactive conversation about not only our relationship with the living gospel of Jesus, but yours as well. So we hope to hear from our participants in the audience today. You can always reach Donna at her email, donna@institutechristconsciousness.org. And without further ado, here's our very special guest. Good morning, good afternoon, Donna, depending on where you guys are in the world. It's afternoon for us.
Thank you, Kona, and welcome everyone. It's so nice to see your lovely shining faces. So today, as we look into our relationship to Jesus' gospel, this is going to be a different format. We're going to start with a meditation, and that meditation is designed to help you connect more to your own personal relationship with Jesus. And then I'm going to give you a few questions to consider as you meditate, because what I'd like to do in this particular presentation is to elicit feedback from each one of you, if you feel so inclined. There's no pressure here, but to share your insights about your own relationship with Jesus, how it has changed you, and how you have insights about what this means when we all start to live more according to the living gospel of Jesus on the planet as a societal whole. And the reason I want to do it this way is because we have a variety of celestial attendees. We can't see them, but we know they're there and they're listening to us. And they love our feedback because this is where they can take the information we're providing and seed it into the planet in the areas where it will do a lot of good. So as we go through the meditation, and I'll be posing these questions, if you have any insights, feel free to jot them down, or you can put them in the chat, because we'll go into a discussion of these insights you receive, so that we're taking all of this energy, this intentional energy, and lifting it up to our helpers so they can respond to us accordingly. And then after we have our discussion, I'd like to take a few minutes of meditation again, just to seed this into the planet from an energetic standpoint. So it's a little bit of a different presentation today. I'm not going to be speaking so much because I want to hear from you and how your relationship with Jesus has augmented your particular life, and especially the sole purpose for why you're here. So I hope that's resonating and everyone feels comfortable with that. Again, no pressure to respond, but sure would love to hear from you.
And just as a reminder, real quick before you get started, Donna, since we have some new folks coming in, if you have any questions for Donna, please put them in the chat. I'll be monitoring that as we go. And if you want to speak and be heard on the recording, just please raise your hand and unmute yourself when the time for questions comes. All right. Thank you so much. We're ready to go, Donna.
And one other final note. We are recording this, and it is going to be posted on the ICC YouTube channel. But please feel free to respond accordingly or not. We don't have a lot of people viewing the channel right now, so I don't think there's any concern about your privacy, like somebody's going to hack your identity or anything like that. So it's a safe place to share. All right, so I'm just going to pull up the questions that came to mind. So the gospel that Jesus taught was simple: to have faith in God as our creator parent, and to treat our brothers and sisters with loving kindness and to be of service to them. So in this presentation, we will explore the deeper meaning and value of Jesus' gospel during these changing times, and how living the gospel forms the underlying social structure for the rehabilitation of our institutions. So let's just take a few deep breaths and relax into our meditation so that our minds are being primed by our spirits to think about Jesus and our relationship with him and our commitment to live according to his gospel. And of course, you have direct access to Jesus through the Spirit of truth. And so, Father, we ask you to speak into our hearts today. Your life here was such a wonderful inspiration to us of how we could live a God-centered life and grow into our Christed natures. And you know the challenges we face. You know so well the conditions of this world and how difficult it is to bring people into this simple approach of living according to your gospel. But we trust you. We trust your divine plans of correction. And now we wish to engage with you and to receive the insights we need so that we can have a honest and forthcoming discussion about how we may, as your children, contribute in this growing time to live this gospel with meaning and value and joy and purpose. And we thank you so much for speaking into our hearts and minds today as we move into this meditation. So the first question to bring to Jesus or your indwelling spirit is, what is my current perception of Jesus' living gospel? Just take a few moments to ponder that and allow any response you may perceive to come forth. And then the next question to pose to Jesus or your spirit: how may I live it more fully in my daily life, his living gospel? Moving on to our next question, and this is a big question. How may Jesus' living gospel be applied at a social, societal level? So just take that to your spirit and let the information that you're ready to perceive to come forward. And here is the last question to ponder in the meditation. What celestial help do we focus on to make this a more pervasive planetary reality, Jesus' living gospel? Take a few moments to return to the room you're in and normal consciousness, keeping the circuit open to share any wisdom, insights you may have received. And in a few moments, when everyone's back, we'll begin our discussion. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you found that helpful and insightful. Just to kind of get the ball rolling here, I'll just share more of my perceptions is that Jesus' living gospel is really the social antidote for all of our spiritual problems. It takes us out of our self-centeredness and gives us more inner space to feel his peace, his love for humanity in a much larger way that naturally compels us to move out into the world to be loving, kind, patient, and tolerant with one another. But there's another dynamic of his living gospel, which is more of the harmonization that he was able to do. When you think about his relationship with the 12 male apostles and all of the different personality attributes that they have, it was masterful of him to weave them together into this cohesive group that they could go out and preach and teach the good news of Jesus' gospel to the masses. And that is a dynamic that we really need here in our culture now, today, especially when so many people are emotionally agitated and there's so much fragmentation in the way people think. The harmonization that he was able to instill in his ministry, especially with the women apostles, which we'll be talking about in our next March webcast, is especially relevant for today. So I just want to start with this. And if anyone has any comments or any of their own insights they'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. Because this is the way our celestials hear us all, and we can then take all of this group wisdom and give it to them for their purposes. Who's going to be the brave one to get the ball rolling?
Well, Michael Brady unmuted. I was wondering, Michael, if you had something to say, and then Bob has his hand up. So we'll start, Michael, if you have if something to say, no, go ahead.
Yes, first I just want to introduce myself. My name's actually Mickey. I go by Mickey. And
Perfect.
I've been following both of you, Kona and Donna, for some time in various different settings, and Daniel Raphael and others. I've been a student of the Urantia Revelation for going on 10 years. And I say that as both introduction and also this transformation that's been going on for me and my wife recently in regards to like your most recent recording on the podcast for ICC regarding the healing authority, Christ Michael's healing authority. And so cogent to this conversation, there's this realization that I'm coming to, which my ahas may sound like ha-has, but I'm kind of new at this, but in that I'm a fixer, I'm a person who wants to be out there loving and serving and actively trying to be that, show that loyalty to my own relationship with Jesus and the world around me, with my kids and grandkids, my wife and I both. And I've not put a lot of thought and confidence into what you just mentioned, Donna, about really being that resonance, that being able to, through my prayer and meditation, to actually tangibly make a difference in this world. And where it has true power and true efficacy in the world around me. And again, this may be the old hat for a lot of people, but my approach has been very intellectual, very textual, very, I pray and meditate a lot. I have a growing relationship, and I believe continually fruiting insights and of a spiritual nature, and I see it changing not just my life, but the lives around me in transformative ways. And so the way in which my living faith, my walk with Jesus, and of course through my my thought adjuster, has been one of well, my life is just completely different, and the people around me see it, and it's been the impetus behind many very valuable conversations and true impact. And so the concept that I can truly, by willing the encoding of Christ Michael's healing authority within me, that I can be instrumental in delivering and doing my part in the realization of the divine inheritance for our planet, and that I can participate, as it says in Second Peter, and participate in the divine nature of God, and to be an element of that, however small, but fervently and committedly, and so that's where I'm at, and I've been seeking to participate in various different groups for a couple of years now. I became a part of the teacher education program through Urantia University and just different things like that, seeking ways to be of use, of service, and a lot of these, while very helpful, I struggle with intellectualizing things too much, and so I felt like pursuing that sort of study for me was maybe just hardening something that I need to grow past, and so something more intuitive, more spiritual, something that is more core to the changes that are occurring within me, just the downloads, the just the whole experience is so much more living contour and texture for me than just the devouring of the revelation and the studying of all of that, and so I'm sort of intentionally setting that approach a little bit to the side, and so yeah, this is my step into finding out how to truly make a difference, not just locally but globally, through the growth that's going on within me. So
Wow. Thank you so much, Mickey. That was very powerful. And I almost got a little emotional listening to you because I can feel your heart, your desire to grow in this way. And, while it's wonderful to read the Urantia book, and of course it expands our consciousness, but what we need right now on the planet is the expansion of the heart energy, the healing of the heart, which Jesus so magnificently portrayed. So it's wonderful to see how you're making that transition into that more intuitive, heart-based, because that's what people need and that's what they feel. And like you said, you're noticing how it is changing you and how it's changing the people around you. And to me, that's one of the best ways that we can live the gospel and just help other people, because if they can't have their own direct relationship with Jesus, then it's up to us to be that, so they can see what it means to live a God-centered life like he showed us. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for letting me share. And I apologize for unmuting sooner than I meant to.
That was perfect. That's what we're here for. So, Les, I saw your hand, and then Bob. So, Les, go ahead. You're muted. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay, good, sure. with this first question about our current relationship and our perception of Jesus' living gospel, what came to me was by more fully, very much like Mickey, by more fully living his gospel in our daily life, we're able to become, for myself, I'll say, more anchored in a way that is, I find, more and more essential, more valuable, just because of the all the events in the world going on today, and one that's always very hyper attuned, just out of fascination, curiosity, and concern, all of these things. And these are very, very tumultuous times, as we all, I'm sure, hyper aware. And so all the signs of the continuation of the attempts of the rebellion to continue its influence and its perpetration of illusions on the planet, and that whole sort of battle that we're in with the revelation, the teachings of the life of Jesus, and in the whole context of the revelation. For me, my answer to this question is, again, it is invaluable to have this consciousness, this doorway into the consciousness of the Bible, the teachings of the gospel, in a much, much more expanded portrayal than ever before on this planet. And it's just more essential day by day by day. And just to close, most recently, what comes to me is how Jesus, even through his trials and tribulations and his recognition of the challenges of his time, with the ideologies of his time here 2,000 years ago, he always still reminded us, be of good cheer, that we have all the reasons in the world to maintain hopefulness and faith, especially through our connection and realization of the grander cosmic reality that we're just a small role in, a small viewpoint in. So his reminding of us to be of good cheer, is also, I think, very, very incredibly valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. And I think it's very important to stress that we as microcosms are part of the big macrocosm. And just by us being of good cheer sends that vibration to the planet that does change the consciousness. And I think that's more of what we're seeing. And that's why the rebellion influence is having such a hard time holding on and fighting back so hard, because they know their time is up and they're not going without a big fight. So it's so important for us to maintain that cheerfulness and that positivity. So, we can help more people see that this is actually a good thing that's happening. And we're going to get beyond this, because Michael has made a promise to this world that we will all make it, through this crucible. So thanks for your insights. Appreciate it.
All right, Bob, I see that you've unmuted and you've been waiting. So please come forward and have your conversation with Donna.
What I'd like to say is that we need to realize that celestials are here, and they're here to help us raise our level of consciousness. And Jesus will bring order and love, trust, and togetherness, upholding the value of others to each of us, bringing our brothers and sisters close in the family of humanity. And another thought I had was individual growth and celestial guidance from our thought adjusters and guardians to learn the value of unity together in this life, and how to bring each other in heart and mind towards a unification of people on this planet.
Thank you. I really love how you are stressing the celestial involvement area, because if we consider the concept in the Urantia book that, the whole universe is based on the teamwork model, then this is really one of the greatest ways that we can contribute with them, because they see the bigger picture. They know the areas where they can see the energy that we're holding and our willingness for that to change so it can be applied into the great macrocosm of the planet. And the idea that we're all doing this together is, I think a big shift in our consciousness, from getting out of all of that separation, divide and conquer mentality that's just been such a plague on this planet for many years. And now we're starting to learn more about the teamwork model, especially with our helpers. So I'm really glad that that came through for you and stress that importance today for us. Thank you. Anybody else?
So wave your hand and I'll be happy to make sure you're unmuted. John, you look like you're about to unmute. Yes?
Yoma wanted to make a statement too.
Okay, let's see. John is unmuted and then we'll go with Leoma. So go ahead, John.
The words that came up with each of the questions mean respect and understanding, which I need more of, because I try to live the gospel. I've tried since I started reading the book, the Rancha book, almost 50 years ago, like you, Donna. And it just made my toes curl, every word in it. It just grabbed me, and it still does that. I sit and read it for hours, and yeah, I want to be more like Jesus, just like you said once upon a time. But I lack this getting over this hurdle of showing respect. When I meet people, it's no problem being respectful. But it's the people I haven't met, the people I've read about, who are running things. These are the ones that I have a problem respecting in my own heart and in my own mind. Because I just can't understand how they operate or how they think or how they function. And that's why understanding is important for me. I think if I understood them more, then I would respect them more. So my problem is, this is something I'm going to keep working on, and hopefully become more and more attuned to the gospel. And I'm happy. I feel like I've made some progress in my life, but I've got a long ways to go.
Well, maybe Donna has some wisdom and insight for you on that, John. Thank you so much for sharing.
John, you brought up a really important point, and it's something we all have to face here, living on a rebellion world. The biggest issue that I think we're facing right now is to be able to see beyond what people believe and to look at their motivations and their souls. And keep in mind that those people who are beholden and influenced by the rebellion mindset, that they have been inculcated through many years of evolution and societal pressure to maintain this mindset. Jesus loves them. Jesus understands them. And if you go into your heart and just say, Father, show me how you perceive these children that I believe are erring in your will. Help me to move past my own objections and biases to them. and help me see them through your eyes of love and compassion and understanding. I had to do this many years ago when I was faced with really forgiving the rebellion and what it did here, with all the horrific evil and sinfulness that has occurred here. And it was not easy, but I had to go to Jesus time and time again. And the beauty of his universal heart is that he's able to take all of that like mental energy and help us move into the place of our heart where we can expand into his greater love for humanity and the frailty of our human nature that makes us do some very ungodly and unconscious things. And I love to hear how you're striving to do that, because if everyone had that same motivation like you have, we would see a lot more healing occur in a shorter period of time. But we're still so antagonistic with one another. And that is part of the rebellion legacy. So I would encourage you just to go to Jesus and ask for all of those remaining little threads of attachment that you may have, to not understanding them or not being compassionate or forgiving. I think those people who are still perpetuating the rebellion mindset must be so full of hate and fear that they just, like Jesus said on the cross, Father, forgive them. They really don't know what they're doing, especially from a cosmic standpoint. And when you go to Jesus and ask to see it from his perspective, he elevates the emotional body out of that and helps you to feel his love and his understanding of these erring children. So when you are in conversation or you are helping other people see them, you are sharing a greater love with them. Because at some point, we all have to forgive what's happened here, because that is our liberation. That is the way we get out of it. So I would just encourage you to spend more time with Jesus and just have this very frank conversation with him and say, this is what I'm feeling. Show me where I'm erring and expand me in who you are and your love and understanding of my brothers and sisters. Does that help?
I think, Janice, you're touched by that as I am. I'm trying not to have tears myself over here with Donna. Thank you for that, Donna, very much. And thank you for John for your sincerity in making your comments and bringing that forth. Very similarly, Les has posed another question in our chat, and this is something I ponder all the time, having been through so many denominations, Les. I'm with you on this. He says, with so many Christian denominations holding antiquated and highly selective interpretations of Jesus and biblical teachings overall, how can a renewed and expanded understanding of Jesus be put forth that will attract people like never before and inspire them to live his teachings? Of course, that's a loaded question. And Donna, I'm sure you ponder that daily as well. So, Les, thank you for that question. What do you think, Donna?
Whew, it is a big one. And it's something that's not going to happen overnight. So there are several ways to look at this. One from the personal transformation that each one of us is undergoing right now to be that shining love and compassion and demonstrate the love of Jesus as best we can. But from a societal context, they do talk about in the, I think it's in one of the papers about the planetary seraphic government, that of all the social religions, of all the social institutions, religion is the last one to change. So we have a very big order as Urantians, as children of Christ Michael and Mother Spirit, to do our best each day to be those representatives of their love to their children. And that mostly happens through the emotional body, through the heart center, where we're really feeling that expanded, joyful cheerfulness of living his teachings, which for us is probably the hardest thing we humans could ever do in our human lifetime here because of all the impediments placed upon us by the rebellion. So religion and the Christian religion has gotten very entrenched in the what you would call theological interpretation of his life. And there are so many different interpretations. That's why we have so many denominations of Christianity. Everybody's got, well, this is the piece that makes the most sense for us. And we have at some level have to make that transition down into that loving heart and being understanding of each person's perspective. I'd like to address this more in our next webcast on March 15th, when I talk about the women who loved Jesus, because the women got Jesus, his apostles, the women he commissioned as his female apostles, got Jesus in a way that the male apostles didn't. The male apostles were more attached to the word, the interpretation of Jesus' message. The women were attached more to the heart and soul and spirit of Jesus. And that is the big shift that we're making now. And there's a lot of interference because people are still screaming, this is the truth and this is the only way to believe. That's the Luciferic mindset. The Jesus mindset is all are welcome to participate in the fatherhood of God and the fraternity of humanity. And that is where we can start helping people understand conceptually that this is where we need to focus in meditation, in going to Jesus and just sitting with him, asking questions so that we have the words that we can share with our brothers and sisters who are having difficulty with this, as well as emitting a spiritual fragrance that Jesus exuded that comes from our hearts, that I think Mickey expressed beautifully in what he was sharing, where people were noticing how he's changed, and that makes a resonant and a change in other people. This is something that we have not fully developed. It is a latent spiritual quality or potential within humanity's spirituality and creativity. And we are moving into that area. And so it is up to us who have real deep experience with Jesus and understand him from the Urantia book perspective, to take more time each day to communicate directly with him and say, I need what you experienced. Expand me in your love, expand me in your understanding, so that we are now his representatives, his ambassadors, and we are living that more and more each day. And will that change the world overnight? No. But what it is doing, it's setting a reverberation on the planet that our helpers can take and seed into areas where people are more receptive conceptually and emotionally for this. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Donna, for that. That's a great explanation of truly living the gospel of Jesus. Leoma has a question or a comment for you, so she's coming up next.
You
Go
had
ahead,
to
Leoma.
meditate on. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
um, yeah, the questions that you had us meditate on, Donna, started with the individual, and the last question, I believe, was how can we work with our unseen helpers to help societies live more with the gospel of Jesus. So I guess I would just underline, and it's come out in what everyone else has said, that it does begin with the individual. We have to do the individual work, the inner work, and reaching out. And if more people on the planet could learn to work with our unseen helpers and actually get to know them, and I, as part of a small group over the years, different groups have done a lot of that, had a lot of experiences with working with planetary seraphim and all kinds of personalities, Melchizedeks and so on. And it has led to doing some really amazing and surprising work and help helping just from our armchairs, helping the consciousness of the planet to be raised. So in the question that Donna asked last about which celestials we might work with or unseen helpers, right away what came to mind were the planetary seraphim, because they are close to us, and they have their divisions of labor, if you will, the different organizations associated with our planet, religion and industry and family and all those. They can work directly in the circuits, but we need to be the ones to initiate the cooperation, and then they can enter in with their abilities to join with us to do the work that uplifts the planet. So another thing, I don't know if it's really connected with what I've just said, but earlier in the meditation time, what just popped into my head was engendering the fruits of the Spirit. And some of that has been mentioned also. So I guess I'll end there.
Thank you for that, Leoma. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought this up, because that is going to be the theme of future webcasts, when we'll be talking about more of the conscious collaboration we can do. Now, we're already doing some of that on the planetary transformation calls on those Sundays, but that's just one call, and we can be working with other groups and having direct contact with our celestial helpers to gather in ways that they can take our intentions and seed them into the planet. Because we're not going to get through this mess without their help. I mean, we just don't have the skills. You know, we are so we are so behind the curve to get all of this done. So we definitely need them. And next time, we'll talk about the women who loved Jesus, the 12 apostles. And then I'd like to bring forth what we're doing at the ICC through our women's and men's core to work with not only the women evangelists, but the planetary seraphim, to meet in small groups and take the heart intentions we have and lift them up and say, okay, these are the changes we see need to be made. What are you going to do with them? Because they see areas of receptivity in the planetary circuits that we can't. And so what we're doing here is we're moving from the logic mind of intellectualizing the teachings into helping us become more intuitively aware of how we can live them more. And the point that you made about gathering in the different groups and the experiences that you've shared with me over the years has been remarkable. You know, we don't even know the power that we have to do this co-creative work with our celestial helpers. And that is so important for us to do, because this is a teamwork universe. That's how the universe operates. Does not operate in antagonism and conflict. It operates in harmony and cooperation. So I'm really glad you brought that forward, because I want that, and especially because this is the theme of this webcast, exploring human divine connections and collaboration. And this is the heart of what I'd like to help us get into more as people, as awakened people who are aware of the celestial help, and to bring this into a greater living reality so that more people feel comfortable with this. So at some point in time, God willing, that they will be here with us in physical form and helping us make the changes that we need in a much more expedient manner. So thanks for bringing that forward, Leoma. That was important.
Thank you, Leoma, and thank you, Donna. And now Gordon and Paulette Lind have been waiting patiently. They're off screen, but Gordon, if you're unmuted, you can go ahead with your question. We'll hear you.
It's not. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Hey, Gordon and Paulette are right here. So much thank you. Thank yous to everyone here, and certainly Donna and your team. My God, this is the most brilliant energetics to come through to endow us, to embody us with the actual essence of the Christ consciousness inside us. And you asked, how may Jesus' living gospel be applied to the social level? Our understanding is by becoming that essence of Jesus inside us, the gift of the Jesus healing circuit, flow it through our every particle, every atom of our DNA, infuse it into our soul, and then be still, more and more still, away from doing into being the Christ consciousness. And when that happens, everything gets radiated through you of the divine levels from Paradise Creator flows into you. The Paradise Ascension Codes was a brilliant session you did. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. And so that's flowing through us. All we have to do is be ever more still in the cacophony of life, the craziness of this world. And that all begins to make sense because being is the next step for humanity. And so if we do that, we then radiate the infinite right into this planetary energetic, this matrix, and right into the collective consciousness, and it uplifts everybody. And we don't have to go out and do, because that sort of takes our mind away from being, actually feeling, and then feeling the Christ, feeling divine Michael and Nebuchadnezzar, feeling the paradise flow through us and expand us. Each time we do your sessions, Donna, we feel that it's a conscious expansion of our very individual soul and our higher self, and right through into our infinite nature. Every time you do a connection, we feel that ever growing as we clean, as that naturally cleans our imperfections. So we're sort of on a program of being it. Yeah. Things, but I'm all day long feeling this richness of source energy. And so that accomplishes the whole reconfiguration and upgrading of the human race, of the planet, all the plants, all the animals. The whole thing is to become a new kind of paradise world. And of course, those who are desirous of staying here have to match that frequency of the new paradise energy coming in. So it's all a brilliant plan of just being. And I thank you, Donna. Paulette and both.
Thank you so much.
Both of us, thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, bless your hearts, and thank you for what you do and your beingness on the planet, because that is really the bigger picture of what we're doing. A lot of times when I'm doing sessions with people, I see the word be-coming. We are coming into our beingness. Yeah. And that is a big deal because especially in our culture, we're so used to this doing thing. And if we're not doing something, then we're not productive. We're not worthy. And that's completely antithetical to the way the Creator wants us to live. And to be first, and then we can do, and then the effectiveness of our beingness becomes greater enhanced in the doing, and becomes a greater radiating inspiration to our brothers and sisters. So you've articulated that so beautifully, and you've got the most mellifluous voice. It's just lovely to listen to you.
Wait till you hear Paulette.
Your voice is all the better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gordon and Paulette. Thank you, Donna. We have time, I think, for one more, and Les has his hand raised again. So I'm going to bring Les on. And then I'm not sure if you have something planned in a closing meditation, Donna, but let's hear one more time from Les.
Okay, go ahead, Les.
Yeah, sure. During this beautiful session. Something that came to me in this discussion about actually when Paul, Donna, when you said about people's motivation and what we can see through their actions and questioning what behind people's actions, what their motivations may be. And so a little bit of the reality check and our way out of it is, I think that this is what came to me. There's an unfortunate misperception of what power is. How people who on the planet are living from separation and act without empathy and harm others, or they're failing to recognize that this activity, this whole attitude, this whole way of being circles back to themselves. True. And which is a false perception of power. And this is what we see in the seeking to hoard wealth and resources rather than share them and live from inclusivity and live from the reality of abundance of resources, abundance of spirit, energy, truth, and love. So there's this sort of paradox, the illusion of scarcity versus the reality of abundance. And I'm just seeing this, in being kind of solution oriented and seeking ways how we can contribute to the shift there in the enlarged downflow of Christ consciousness here. These are thoughts that just came to me, and I just, I'm putting them out there here. And that also, I am noticing, and maybe you all are as well, I would suspect that it's possible to recognize there's also an expanded, there are more voices and expressions I'm seeing of people who do value and live from compassion, justice for all, support for all in need across the planet. And what we can recognize here is the impulse of God's love coursing through humanity and the value of the divine family and the pattern, which is family, being made manifest in the here and now. And as we notice this and live from the expression in the love and the value of the human family, this inclusion and value of harmony is a contribution to God the Supreme that we can see unfolding and that we're all a part of.
Thank you, Les. And it's very exciting to know that we can contribute to this greater deity fabric on the planet where our consciousness is changing. We're at this critical juxtaposition right now, and the power structure is shifting as more people recognize that this is not what true power is, authoritarian over control. And wielding physical might that does not make right. And, coming out of a very long ingrained rebellion mindset for 200,000 years, the gains we're making are actually quite speedy. In a few short years, this social change has really taken over the planet. And so, with all the comments that we've made today, our helpers are listening, they're listening, And so what I'd like to do, first of all, is thank you all for your input. It's been very valuable, and I've enjoyed our discussion tremendously. And so with that, I'd like to just take all of the things that we've shared together, all our heart energies, all our love for our planet, for our brothers and sisters, and just take a few more minutes of meditation to lift that up to our planetary seraphim, our parents, to Macaventa and Mongeronson, our wonderful planetary manager and magisterial son, and just let them respond and amplify our energies so that they can make a greater impact into that fabric of mind and help more people open up and respond accordingly. So just take a moment to go within. I'm going to get a little emotional here. Mother and Father, we are so grateful for your divine plans of correction that you have given to us as your faithful children. You have entrusted us with a mighty, mighty endeavor to turn this rebellion world around and face the glory and the beauty of paradise and the love that emanates from there. We ask our seraphim to take all of our heartfelt and mindful energies and weave them into the areas of the planet where they will produce the most good and help more hearts and minds open to these expanded concepts of what it means to live according to the principles, the ways of the divine that lead us into our Christ consciousness. We give you our hearts of gratitude and faith. We pledge ourselves to continue to expand in our own unique ways, that we may be greater contributors to the growing deity fabric on the planet. So we just sit with this intention for a few moments, and may this be woven and encircuited and distributed into the planet in all of those areas where it will produce the most healing, the greatest good, and the greatest opportunity for more people to step into their spiritual potential. Thank you so much. So let's just hold this for a few minutes while our helpers go about their business. Mother and Father, we trust in the corrections that are underway on the planet now. We have total faith in your commitment that this planet is being returned to the family of the universe. We continue to pledge our faithfulness and our service to this greater planetary undertaking. And we thank all of our wonderful helpers, and we hope that one day we will be able to collaborate with them in a more material manner as more people open their hearts to the reality of who they are as sons and daughters of God and their rightful place in our universe home. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And may we move forward from this place and space with more motivation to serve, to love, to understand, to be patient and tolerant with our brothers and sisters, and help them step out of the past that has created so much sorrow and suffering in them, and point them in the direction of true redemption and divine love and grace. And I thank all of my brothers and sisters for joining me on this presentation today. And I ask that you shower them with your love, your peace, and your motivation to become the best versions of themselves, so their lights are shining brightly into the planet and drawing more people to them whom they can serve. Thank you so much. Okay, so just take a minute to come back. Oh. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful that you came on and you felt brave enough to share. That's so important for us to get to know one another and our different perspectives, because we're all building our souls together, and it's a wonderful thing to hear and to get to know you more in a much more personal manner. So again, our next one will be talking about the women who love Jesus and how we can collaborate with them, and the various ways that they are helping us open up to this Mother Spirit principle of harmonization and collaboration, which is now being returned to the planet. So I hope you'll join me for that. So have a wonderful day. And again, much love to you, and thanks for all that you do to bring this planet back to its rightful divine inheritance. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Donna. And thank you, everyone who is with us here today. As a reminder, we've been with Donna D'Angelo with the Institute of Christ Consciousness. This and all of the other offerings in her ministry are made possible by the generous donations of folks that have been with her and following this ministry for decades. So we give you our gratitude and appreciation for your donations. If you want to make a donation to help Donna continue with this ministry, please go to her website, institutechristconsciousness.org, and you can make your donation there. We hope to see you here in 2 weeks back on the webcast, exploring more human divine connections. And as Donna said, she'll be telling us more about the women who loved Jesus. So we'll see you then.